What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Duke45 here, and I have got Battle Corps Commander Bulletproof from the G.I. Joe subscription service from the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. This was part of the shipment number 2. This one came with Captain Gridiron. Bulletproof is one of those characters I really liked from the Deke series. I liked all of the characters from the Deke series, truth be told. I know some of the cartoon stories weren't really, absorbable for people over the age of like 10 or 11, but I was only 9 when it came out, so it didn't really bother me at the time. Looking back at it now, I know it's a kid's cartoon, so I don't get all worked up about the storylines and stuff. I do remember, though, that a lot of those characters from that series I really liked as a kid, and one of them was Bulletproof. And this is the first version of Bulletproof in the modern era, and because it's ending, it's the last one. So they went ahead and gave him one of the the missile firing, rocket-powered, spring-loaded action weapons that he had when he was packaged with, like a lot of those ones from the Battle Corps were packaged with. Initially, off the bat, the figure looks pretty good. I don't like the non-removable helmet, like a lot of people. It's Dodger, basically. They use the same head for Dodger. It's actually been used a few times, but I see Dodger in it right now, so that is kind of an immediate knock against it, but the rest of the figure, to me, looks pretty good. So let's take him out and give you guys a look and a chance to form your own opinions on it. I'll get to the card art in a minute. Okay, so let's put Bulletproof right here. So, Battle Corps, he is basically an urban combat commander. And I don't know, I can't pretend I'm some sort of an expert on urban combat, but to me this looks more like a, field combat attire. This would be perfect for, wilderness, jungle, or forestry type combat. So it's weird to me that for an urban combat figure, they gave, outdoor warfare type attire, which would have served well on so many other characters and figures. But not really complaining. It's still a great looking figure. Doesn't mean, when I do my photography, that he has to be used in urban combat. He still could be anyway. Doesn't matter. So here's a look at the figure. The vest, the torso, that is from Firefly. As you can see, the little collar, the popped collar on that. And he's got a grenade strap on him. Let me move stuff out of the back so you can get a little bit clearer of a shot of Bulletproof. And you know what? He's having trouble standing up, so I'm going to back him up to the wall here. And then just bring it in for a little bit of a zoom. There you go. So the legs, we've seen those on Steel Brigade, the alternate Steel Brigade figure. The arms, they look just like the ones that were also on Steel Brigade, but doesn't have the extended elbow area. So they do move and pose nicely. They also have the wrist joint, and I'll see if I can give you a peek at that. There you go. You can see that little joint. So the wrist will move up and down as opposed to in a circle because of this. Everything else, it's a sturdy figure. Like, it feels good, It feels formidable. It doesn't feel like, obviously cheap plastic. So we've got that. He's got a pistol and a knife sheathed. Both of them are removable. And like I said, when I do a review, then I can get into a little bit more of the breakdown of the figure and everything that he comes with. But all in all, this is good parts that they used here. The head really is what kind of changes it for me. If not for this head, if they had given him like the Air Raid convention head, this would be screaming at me as one of my favorite figures. Because I really do like that green and tan color. It looks really nice. Definitely looks military for sure. But the helmet, I didn't like it on Dodger to begin with. I don't like it on Bulletproof. It maybe slightly, I don't know, you guys can decide. Does it look like it's just the head's a little too big for the body? Just the way it sits? Yeah, I do. Kind of looking at it in the camera, it looks like this guy's head, he's just a shade too big for the body. Oh well, you know what? I can do a head swap if I want to. The one problem is that Air Raid convention head, which looks perfect on him, by the way. That's kind of an expensive figure. Here's a look at the back of him. Yeah, look at how those colors go together. That is a nice look for sure. Alright, just look at the arms. You can see the pouches on there, they're not detailed in. He's got that urban camo, which is supposed to disrupt people who have you in their sights by having other things that can possibly look like sights from a gun or crossbow or whatever, but that's what it's intended for. He's having a little trouble standing up, as you can see. He does have the ankle articulation, so I should be able to find some kind of a pose that will work for him. Another problem with the modern figures, and most of you modern collectors know, is that sometimes the hip hinge, you know, the T-joint that goes in between here, right behind the crotch piece, if it's even off slightly, then what happens is you get a figure with one leg that is taller than the other, and that becomes a bit of a nightmare. You have to take the legs off and then, you know, tap it around a little bit to get it to line up so the figure will stand without problem. He does have a figure stand right there, just bulletproof. And then let me pop these accessories out so you can take a look at that. Here is the spring-loaded, looks like a rocket launcher, missile launcher, whatever. And then he also comes with a, you know, I'm not sure. This doesn't look like a rifle. It looks kind of like a submachine gun with silencer on there. So that is the only other thing that he is packaged with, aside from what is on his body in terms of his accessories, which are the pistol and the knife. And yeah, just a regular black knife. Nothing fancy about that one. And then the pistol, yeah, it's a pretty standard pistol. We've seen this one hundreds of times in the modern era. Let's take a look at the card art, which is really good. Pull it here and let me back up the camera. There you go. So this is pretty good card art. It's going to look nice on the wall when I put it up there. Flip it over on the back. We have... This is one thing I miss, is not having the cells going aside with the different characters, other characters they could have. I mean, even from the FSS series, they could put the other 12 or 13 on there. To me, that would be a nice touch. I understand that probably costs money, or I'm sure they have their reasons, but it would have been nice. I think I would have liked seeing that. That was one of my favorite parts as a kid, as I know most of you feel the same way. Let's zoom in on that file card. Battle Corps Commander Bulletproof from Chicago, Illinois. So, yeah, he was definitely a big part of my childhood missions, for sure. You know, I really liked that era, that 91. As a kid, you know, I was 10, going on 11, still loving the Joes, so he was a big part of that as well. Anyway, that is Bulletproof. The prices on this one on eBay are not super high yet. I don't know. I don't have the same feeling that this one is going to jump like Gridiron has and probably will. So I think this is one, if you're looking at it, you're probably going to be able to pick it up at a reasonable price. Reasonable being relative, because none of the prices of these figures are reasonable in terms of, you know, what most people would expect to spend on an action figure. But in terms of paying for the Collectors Club figures, you should probably be able to get it around, you know, the what seems to be the starting point for Collectors Club figures, which is about $50. I think it should probably hover around there. It really depends on how much people, you know, want Bulletproof. If he had a different head, I definitely think that this figure would be a lot more desirable. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I say this all the time, but I mean it. I really appreciate all the support, comments, everything you guys, you know, contribute to the channel. It's grown a lot over the past 2 months. The last 2 months, I've quadrupled subscribers and comments and everything like that. So that's really awesome. I'm now on Facebook as well. It's Duke45 Toys. Same thing there. If that's one way you like to interact, please feel free to interact with me over there. I would love to hear from you guys. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, Yo Joe.